We'll start with a couple of Kickstarters that were launched in August, the first aiming to create a documentary detailing the Power Glove, the infamously ineffective NES accessory, but only has a handful of days left to reach its target of $15,000. The second is for those of you out there that want a remake of the schlocky Sega CD title Night Trap. It could certainly use some help to reach its target. Next is the release of an iBook edition of Ocean: The History, an in-depth look at the prolific company that brought us games including Jurassic Park on the SNES and Double Dragon on the Commodore 64, and will set you back £3.99. The remaining sanity of the human race ebbs further away with this next oddity, however, a Twitch livestream where fish fight it out on Street Fighter. The water-loving rubes unwittingly control the on-screen action by swimming into certain parts of the tank, while a flood of incoherent ramblings are posted into the message board section to the right of the screen. A similar control scheme has been set up for Pokemon too. To round off this section, Pierce Brosnan also played GoldenEye on the N64 against chat show host Jimmy Fallon, and a group attempting to get a Lego set for The Secret of Monkey Island was started. You can lend your support to the cause by visiting the relevant link in this video's description. We'll start with Nintendo's eShops, with the Wii U's receiving ports of the Game Boy Advance's Mega Man Battle Chip Challenge, Fire Emblem and Mario Golf Advance Tour. It also got NES titles Double Dragon 2 The Revenge, Mac Rider and Adventures of Lolo. Meanwhile, on the 3DS's eShop, you can now download Game Boy Color title Extreme Sports and a host of Game Boy Mega Mans, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to be specific. It was also revealed that Ultimate NES Remix, a love letter to Nintendo's 8-bit system, is coming to the 3DS's eShop in November, or December if you're in North America. There were just two other notable new ports or remakes this month though, with a HD reimagining of Apple Macintosh point-and-click adventure Shadowgate on Steam, and then Dragon Quest IV on iOS and Android. There were a lot of future releases announced in August however, with the biggest being the news that Resident Evil is getting exhumed yet again, this time for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It's based around the GameCube remake of the PlayStation original and will be released in 2015. Other than this, a HD remake of the much-loved MS-DOS karting title Wacky Wheels is coming to PC and iOS, probably in October to coincide with the game's 20th anniversary. Secret of Mana was also revealed to be coming to Android devices in autumn. Ocean's isometric platformer Batman is set for a remake on the MSX2 in December, and finally Metal Slug 3 is arriving onto yet another batch of systems in the winter, including the PlayStation 4, PS Vita and PlayStation 3. To open this section, the USB GD-ROM controller for the Sega Dreamcast is now available and is basically a new disk drive replacement which allows up to a further 2 TB of game storage. One will cost you around €130, although they are out of stock at the moment. Next, if you've snapped your DS, have no fear, an intrepid inventor has found a way to turn the bottom half of the system into a fully functioning Game Boy Advance. It's called the GBA Lite, and instructions on how to make your own can be found using the relevant link in this video's description. And last up is this rather spiffing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NES, celebrating the rambunctious reptile's 30th anniversary. A host of games to talk about in this section this month, the first being an unofficial port of Atari ST isometric adventure Where Time Stood Still for the Commodore Amiga. Second are a couple of Mega Drive titles, the first being a physical cartridge version of the unreleased port of Commodore Amiga puzzler Bill's Tomato Game, and the second a version of Wolfenstein 3D. A port of the unreleased and unfinished Super Nintendo version of the Commodore Amiga adventure Pinky was made available to download online too. A couple of brand new homebrew releases became available in August as well, including action title God Killer for the ZX Spectrum and Bath Blast for the Atari 2600. There was some new homebrew announced too, of course, including a Kickstarter gaining enough funding for RPG Elysian Shadows to be released onto the Dreamcast in December next year. Talking of Sega's ill-fated final console, an unofficial HD remaster of Sailor 'em Up, Shenmue, is also in the works, although only one person is working on it at this stage, so its actual release date might be a bit far off. Finally, long-lost Chinese Mega Drive RPG Beggar Prince is to receive a physical cartridge release for the 4th time, thanks to prominent retro publisher Super Fighter Team. A copy will cost you $55, but is expected to ship in 2016 to coincide with the game's 20th anniversary. Not too many long and confusing names this episode, thankfully. Fan translations in August include ones for Wizardry Gaiden, Suffering of the Queen on Game Boy, Ninja Rahoi for the NES, Kuyu Yaku Megami Tensei on the SNES, and the unlicensed shooter Crime Patrol 2 Drug Wars for the PlayStation. That's all for this episode then, but please do give this video a like if you can. It would be much appreciated. Thanks for watching.
I have no time for the likes of you!